George Washington did not have enough money to get to his own inauguration and had to borrow it from a neighbor. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson went to Shakespeare's birthplace and stole a piece of his chair with a knife. Thomas Jefferson forgot to put in his own epitaph that he was president. James Madison and Thomas Jefferson once got arrested for going on a Sunday carriage ride. James Monroe chased after someone with fire tongs. John Quincy Adams was the first president to be photographed in 1848, the year he died. Andrew Jackson was in over 100 duels, killing a man, and he was also born in the same year as John Quincy Adams. Martin Van Buren was the first president born an American citizen. He is also the only president to learn English as a second language. His first language was Dutch. William Henry Harrison had a pet billy goat in the White House. John Tyler had more children than any other president at 15. He was also the first president not to be elected because he took office after his predecessor died. James Knox Polk's last presidential act was creating the Department of the Interior. Zachary Taylor's presidential portrait has him in his military uniform. Millard Fillmore was the first president born in the 19th century, being born on January 7th, 1800. Franklin Pierce said, "I solemnly affirm," instead of "I solemnly swear," in his presidential oath. James Buchanan quietly and consistently bought slaves from the South and freed them. Abraham Lincoln was the first president not born in the original 13 states. Andrew Johnson made his own clothes because he was a tailor. Ulysses S. Grant pardoned Samuel Mudd, the doctor who took care of John Wilkes Booth's ankle. Rutherford Bichard Hayes banned alcohol from the White House and had daily gospel sing-alongs. James Abram Garfield did not die from being shot. He died from people like Alexander Graham Bell playing with the bullets inside of him. Chester Alan Arthur was the first person to say, "So help me God," in his presidential oath, apparently, or supposedly, or whatever word you like. Grover Cleveland, while sheriff of Erie County, New York, acted as hangman twice. Benjamin Harrison's father's corpse was taken by grave robbers and sold to the Ohio Medical College. He was also grandson of President William Henry Harrison. William McKinley's assassination was attended by Robert Lincoln, who happened to also be at his father's and at Garfield's assassination. He vowed to never go around a president again. Theodore Roosevelt was the youngest person to become president at 42 at the time of McKinley's death. William Howard Taft was the fattest president at about 300 pounds and was called Big Bill. Woodrow Wilson was the first president to show a movie in the White House. That movie was The Birth of a Nation. Warren Gamaliel Harding was the first president women could vote for. He was also the first president to own a radio and to speak on one. Calvin Coolidge is, as of now, to have been born on July 4th. Herbert Clark Hoover was an orphan who picked bugs off potatoes and made $1 for every 100 bugs he picked. FDR actually ran as the vice president to James Cox in the 1920 election against Harding and lost. Harry Truman was encouraged to join the KKK because of how much power they held at the time of his presidency. Dwight David Eisenhower is the only president to serve in both world wars. John F. Kennedy was the only Roman Catholic president. Lyndon Baines Johnson liked to call his women his harem and had a buzzer in the Oval Office to alert him when his wife was coming. Nixon was the first president to visit all 50 states. Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr. was born. Leslie Lynch King Jr. James Earl Carter was the first president born in a hospital. Ronald Wilson Reagan was voted University of California's most nearly perfect male figure of 1940. George Herbert Walker Bush is the oldest currently living former president. He is also the only president to have 4 names. William Jefferson Clinton is the first Democrat to be re-elected since FDR. George Walker Bush is the first president's son to be elected since John Quincy Adams. Barack Obama was the first president not born on the mainland 48 states. And Donald Trump is the 324th wealthiest person in the entire world as of 2016.